Welcome back to Strange Normal. Man, it's been quite a night. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you watching and how much fun we're going to have tonight in this. We talk about the stranger things that happen in your normal life to give you a biblical understanding of what is going on. And there's going to be a lot going on. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, because there's tons more coming, and this is just the tip of the iceberg that we're talking about tonight. We got 2 or 3 things that are just incredible, but the majority of our stuff comes from a chat program called Discord, where we have a small community that goes over all the different things throughout the week that happens, and we have a pre-show just before this show that goes over all this stuff and kind of hashes out what we're going to talk about. It's really interesting, and actually I have a little bit so you can kind of see what is going on here. I'll add it to the stream. This is called the Discord, and by the way, welcome to Parallax, Aaron.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
We are in this thing constantly going over all this stuff, and there's so much happening in this thing. And you've been in there, right, Aaron?
Yeah, every day.
Every day. There's just so much going on. There's so much in there that we keep adding and adding and adding. This I used to think, I started this channel thinking it was just going to be a small topic that we were going to talk about, and I should probably hash this out so I can put out this documentary called Starfall. And then it'll be done. But we realize that this thing needs updates. We need to continue talking about this because there's so much that's continuing to progress over this. And my video keeps going in the background here, and we've already gone into the next thing. That's what that noise was. This is live, folks. But what we got tonight is something very interesting. But before we get into it, I want to talk to you about what we want from you. We want to have a poll. We have a poll out in our community tab right now that I want you to go look at. We're trying to create our content for you. And so we want to know how long you want this long form content, because when you look at analytics and the way it's set up, YouTube gives it out to people. The whole point of this is to show this message to other people and have other people realize that this is a big deal. This is a big topic, and we need to know what's going on here. And the way we know that, the way we figure that out, is by creating videos that people need to hear about, but is in line with how much time they have. So we're asking you, how much time do you have? And it gives you a multiple choice option there. So if you can go to the community tab, it's a very interesting thing right here.
Actually,
let's scroll over to it right here. This is Google engineers have said that they expect watch time to be per impressions. So we want to make sure that the watch time is correct. That was the whole point of that right there. But this is the survey. And so we got this survey up here, and it says, hey, how long do you have? 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? Or do you watch from 60 minutes to the whole program without skipping through it? We need to know that in order to know what you think. But often after you look at that survey, we also want you to think about potentially becoming a Patreon member, because we need to spread the word, and we want to use any Patreon income to push advertisements out for Starfall, for any of these videos, so people know the truth about this stuff and other people learn about this stuff, because when they know more about it, then we can spread that message further, which is the whole goal of this. And you become not only a Patreon member where you can have perks, but also you become part of a small community that gets the whole iceberg and sees all this stuff that's pertaining to what's going on in your strange world. And so that was my long spiel. Let's get into the program.
Did good.
Very interesting stuff is happening. What'd you think about Aaron, this week? You have something that we're going to talk about that's going to be very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, there's like always, there are things that are happening in the UFO and alien realm every single day, and we're here to just report on it as it comes, and some things funnel through the Discord, and are released through your channel, and some things we just can't get to, but we do what we can. So I'm excited to talk about the 2 or 3 or 4 topics that we have today. And why don't we dive in?
So to start off, we're going to jump into this very strange event. So at the Vatican, is it at Vatican? Isn't it in Italy? I forget.
This is the Pantheon in Rome.
Oh, the Pantheon. Yeah. And so someone went ahead and wanted to tell the world that aliens exist, and they wanted to show that there was what they were actually talking about. They're not talking about illegal aliens. They're talking about apparently 2 cylindrical objects, because their art form is right beside it. So this was in the news this week. Fascinating that this has become such a big topic that it's being scribbled on the side of the Pantheon.
There you go.
So, what do you think about that, Aaron?
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe to give the viewers an idea as to what the Pantheon is. It is a temple. You see here, it's got the classical order Roman style architecture, but it is a temple, and it's dedicated to the Pantheon. And what the Pantheon is pan, you have all, and theon comes from the word god or deity. So all gods, all the Roman gods are venerated by this temple in Rome.
And so I guess they're including aliens now, or at least the graffiti artist is.
The graffiti artist. Well, that's interesting, because a lot of what we're going to talk about today is where that crosses over, because we have discovered a group that believes in I guess it's a Mesopotamian pantheon, which is what are they? The Anunnaki gods, the deities. During that time, they believe that they are among us. So, yeah, in the form of aliens, too. Mm-hmm. So you have this ancient alien theory that we've been spoon-fed for the last, 10 years? Has it been 15 years?
Yeah. Maybe
more? I forget. And, yeah, we see the 2 things finally coming together.
And so what's really interesting about this, and we're going to show you the clip here in just a second, is it's from a project called the Creative Society. Now, this is something we've been researching in the Discord chat group a lot in this system, because there is so many facets to this, and I think Aaron, you watched a 3 or 7 hour video on it.
Well, as a 7-hour video, I made it to 3 hours and 38 minutes or something like that, and it was hard. So I listened to it, and I'll continue to listen to it to try to dissect this thing so that you guys don't have to. It's 7 hours long, and it's all about this religion called alatra and their belief in the Anunnakis, and how the Anunnaki aliens or deities of old are appearing now today as aliens, and they are here. They are among us. They have footage of these aliens. One of their aliens has a TikTok account, and one of their aliens has a TikTok account who is very popular. Thousands and thousands of followers on her TikTok account, and some of her videos are getting hundreds and even millions of views. And
we're going to look at that.
Dive in.
We're going to look at that. Yeah, we're going to look at that, because it's kind of weird. We're not 100% sure if this is just completely. It's not just made up. There's so much money behind it. If you watch what's going on and how much. Anyway, I can go on and on. Let's get into it real quick. People are chomping at the bit, going, "Let me see it." So,
welcome everyone to your unique conference, Global.
So first of all, I want to tell you that this is the Vatican telling us that they approve of this project. That in itself is interesting. A lot. This alatra, what's it called? Creative Society. So watch this first.
Crisis. Time for the truth. Dear participants and viewers of the conference, I address you with good news. The international project, Creative Society, on whose platform the today's conference global crisis, Time for the Truth, is being held, has received an apostolic blessing from His Holiness Pope Francis. We're expressing our gratitude to His Holiness on behalf of millions of people from around the world. It is very important and commendable that people of different religions and nationalities come together and organize conferences like today's one to discuss the critical issues facing humanity. We are facing the threat of global climate change. This is a critical moment, and the future of our children and our common home depends on our joint actions. His Holiness Pope Francis recognized the importance and urgency of the Creative Society project for all humankind, because he understands the gravity of the climate threat. The fact that the Creative Society project is under the apostolic blessing of His Holiness is extremely valuable and meaningful, both for Christians and for all people of the world.
And so the next snip, I want to show you that this is a official seal of the Vatican. They want to, and I want to actually show you what they're saying because we translated it. They approve of this project, and it's basically a very interesting that this is tying religion to the environmental movement, but then we're going to tie it into this whole strange connection to extraterrestrials, or what they think are extraterrestrials, in just a moment. And it's all coming together. It's so weird. It's so weird, Aaron. Let's move on into that, because this is where it gets really bizarre. So check this out. Let me scroll forward. So let's read this. The creating power of Ra. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is Ra. That's the sun god, right?
Yeah. More specifically, it's the Egyptian sun god,
Right.
Which would be the creator, right? According to their pantheon.
Right. Yeah. The divine feminine principle, the mother of all, Mother Earth or whatnot, was initially called Alta. Hence, the people initiated into spiritual knowledge started calling this original sign Altara, a symbol of a symbol of creating power of the one who created everything. So, in other words, they think they found God, and it's apparently feminine. So that's interesting. And this is where this whole creative society comes from. The same creative society that the papacy, Vatican, is endorsing. Interesting.
Yeah, so alatra essentially is a religion who formed this public international group called Creative Society. They have a massive emphasis on climate change and saving the planet and free healthcare for everyone. In one of the seminars I listened to on this group, one of their goals is to, in their ideal world, nobody has to work, so that even those who are working will have everything they need, but also those who do not work will have everything that they need without having to work, including housing, a car, or what have you. So it has some communist undertones as well, which is really interesting with some of the things we're going to get into a little later on in the show. Oh. But yeah, I find it very fascinating that these are some of the things that they're interested into. And one of the biggest tenets for them is a one world, one global religious system, one faith. And in their system, in their ideal religious system, what I find interesting is that there is no one leader. Here's why, Bradley. Because everyone is God.
What?
In their ideal society. Yes.
Okay. So clearly you've done your homework on this, because I didn't see that at all.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Can I tell you, I wrote a couple paragraphs out. So as I was researching this, Aaron has been so excited about this, not excited as in it's a good thing, but excited about, hey, you got to look at this. This is really strange. Yeah. In the Discord.
It's been a project I've taken on essentially to really,
I had to wrap my mind around it last night and try to really understand, okay, is this legit? What is going on here? Who are these people? And we're going to show you some clips that are pretty incredible here in a second. But so you get the breakdown of what's going on, I kind of wrote out some logic so you can kind of follow what this thing is. And this is what I wrote out. Make sure I'm fact check me,
Sure,
Aaron,
yeah,
because
go ahead.
I might be wrong in this, but this is what I understand. I'm looking at a tiny screen, so forgive me. Alatra is a Ukrainian movement. It builds out. It's this, and half this is according to many Wikipedia articles that I've sewn through.
Yeah.
It builds on theology built by Helen Blavatsky. In 1873, Blavatsky emerged to New York, where in 1875, along with several Americans, she founded the Theosophical Society. Theosophical? Is that what you said? This Theosophical Society was a study of ancient religions, philosophies, and science, and the effects to reveal and develop the divine psychic powers within man and to create a universal human brotherhood. The original views were often fantastical, so that the Theosophists, how do you say that word? Theosophists? Well,
yeah, you've got it.
Yeah, it held that man had an astral body and that he was in the world before other animals. So that he appeared in 7 different races and that he developed spirituality through reincarnation. This has all kinds of stuff in it. So as presented by Blavatsky, this teaching teaches that there is an ancient and secretive brotherhood of spiritual adepts known as masters. Boy, this is like, okay, now we're going to add in karate and all this other jujitsu stuff, because that's kind of what that refers to. The masters are alleged by Blavatsky to have cultivated great wisdom and superpowers. The main goal of the movement is to, and this is from their website. This is what I found from their website. That's why I have it in quotes.
Was this Alatra or was this Creative Society?
This is
which website?
I don't remember. It's from one of them. I mean, it's the same.
I mean, they're the
people.
same thing, right?
Yeah. But the main goal of the movement is to awaken the forgotten knowledge of man, to get rid of the animal essence and to merge with the spiritual essence, and to, above all, to unite humanity with one creative society. So this is from the Alatra group. So this is tying Alatra to creative society right now. There's thereby preventing the impending catastrophe. There's the environmental movement, right? The individual alone is not sufficient capable of the fusion with the spiritual essence, and therefore it is necessary that it become a collective action. And there's ecumenicalism. We have to come together as one people, as one religion, as one. That's where it's going. And therefore it is necessary to become a collective action. Did I stop it? What happened? Oh, that was the end. That was the end of it. Now we're going to go into some of the weirdo stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a lot of mumble jumble. They've got and just reading some of their documents between the Alatra website and the Creative Society website, what I've noticed is just that it's a hodgepodge of so many different religious practices, because again, they're accommodating everybody. They want the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Mormons, the Catholics, the Christians, with the New Agers. They want everybody to be on board with this project, and they believe that this is a movement of the people. The movement, it's a very humanistic religion, if that makes any sense. It's a very human-centered religion, and one of their tenets is that there's no greater being than the human. You know, like that is a central part. So it really is, you know, it reminds me of, and I've been really thinking about 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 and 12. 3 through 12, I'm sorry. Where, again, we have so many warnings in the Bible. Whenever we're going to read something about the last days in Scripture, it begins with, do not be deceived. And I'm becoming more and more convinced every day that this deception, this great deception, is the UFO, one world alien religion, where the gods, the deities, lowercase g, of old come back with the same old messages, but they're representing themselves as aliens from far off worlds. So you have 2 Thessalonians 2:3-12 that says, "Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." And I remember last week we talked about this, but that's what this New Age Christ consciousness movement teaches, is just that and this is the message that the aliens, whenever somebody has an alien encounter and they're bringing religious messages, and what are those messages that these alien beings are bringing? You are God. There's nothing higher than you. And that's what alatra teaches, is that there's nothing higher than the human. And the aliens are here, right? The deities, the entities are here to show us who we truly are, which is God. So you have that here. And it says, "Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time, for the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming." The coming, and this is key, the coming of the lawless one. It says the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan. So it tells you right here, the coming of the lawless one, who is the Antichrist, is according to the working of Satan. Well, what's the working of Satan? In the beginning, in the garden, his message, his work was, "You shall be as gods." So the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteousness. With all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And here we go. "And for this reason, God will send," which is really interesting, "God will send them a strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness."
Oh, my goodness.
So I would like to put emphasis again on signs and lying wonders. One thing that we'll find as we are exploring this group, and one thing I've found while I'm researching this group, is they have these alien entity beings who, Bradley, you and I know they are humans. We're being lied to. But they have these beings doing all sorts of different miracles. In a TikTok video I saw, a man was levitating a water bottle in this video. And it's all on camera. He's levitating a water bottle. And in another video, you have this group is filled with very well-presented, beautiful Russian women who blink sideways. It's totally bizarre. But that's another miracle, right? That's another lying wonder. And in a seminar that I listened to today, the first hour was dedicated to them debunking the claims that their videos were fake. And so they go through with software and bring their images and their videos through filters, and they are blatantly telling lies to the public, to their viewers, that every miracle that you see being worked by these Anunnaki human alien hybrid beings are real. So that was a mouthful, but you have that here in 2 Thessalonians, the coming of the lawless one. Who's the lawless one?
Yeah.
Well, the lawless one is the Antichrist. It's the spirit of the Antichrist, who God says is already in the world, right? Already in the world. This has been happening for a while. And again, we have the signs, power, and lying wonders. And I'm telling you, as we dig into this group and this religious movement, it checks the boxes.
It's really interesting to reread, because I've read those from childhood, all those verses and stuff, but I never really understood what that was saying. I always thought, it's going to be this strange thing that happens at the end. But when you put it in that context and put that filter across it, and you're like, wait a second.
Absolutely.
All these people are all of a sudden going to think they are gods, because a new movement is coming. A new religious movement is going to come, and everyone's going to think, I have special powers now. I am Superman. I have these powers. I can read people's minds. I can, what do they call that? Remote view long distances. I have these powers, but it's going to be lies and lying wonders that is going to be allowed by Satan, or allowed, God's going to allow it
God.
to give it to Satan to give to us. or not, hopefully not us, but hopefully it's going to be given to those people who haven't received the truth.
Well,
So
I think you're spot on with that. I do think, in a sense, that it is a test for the Christian because, again, the scripture is clear. It says God will send a strong delusion. We talk a lot about how, you hear the different threads in the Christian truther community who's exploring this topic of UFOs and aliens. And I am not of the belief that this is all government. I hear that a lot, that, this is the government and the government will use Project Bluebeam and create all these spectacles. Yeah. I don't think that that's necessary. I don't think that because Satan and his angels, his legion, they've never needed Project Bluebeam or a government to perform lying signs and wonders. Never needed it in the past.
This is how I understand it. These people that are, I guess you can say, the conspiracy people that are going to say, no, the government, they've done this fantastic job as tricking us. As soon as miraculous miracles start happening to them or through their friends, or they see this stuff, and as soon as it changes in their head that this is not the government, they're going to be the best satanic evangelists ever. Because they're going to be the most vocal about this, and that's how I'm seeing it. But
and this group, the reason why we've been diving into these two organizations, because they are, I almost feel like that they are some sort of a blueprint in how I believe that this thing is going to pan out in America, in the United States. And once it hits America, I think it's just going to go haywire. Mm-hmm. But there's a part of me that speculates whether or not they're doing this just to test the waters, So so one thing I'm still trying to determine with these groups is, like, are they genuine? Do they really believe this? But there's one lie after another that you could just easily expose within a day's research on these groups. You can see all these flaws, and not even just flaws, but just like quite literally blatant, photoshopped and enhanced video footage of certain things that you're just like, wow, there's no way. How is it that people believe this? And on TikTok and on their YouTube channel, everybody believes it. Right. We can watch the next video here, but man, there's just so much with this group, and I believe that if we are reading our Bible, if we are studying the Word of God, that we are not going to be deceived.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, we won't be deceived because God, and that's the Christian is supposed to do three things primarily, right? Pray, share, and read. And if we are doing those things, we have that relationship with God, we won't be deceived. But and there's no need to fear, because I know this is kind of scary stuff sometimes. But we have one of these videos. I think you posted a number of them to Discord, Aaron.
There's tons of videos in Discord. If anybody wants to see the videos, you can find them on my Twitter. I do post some of them on my Twitter, but you can also join the Discord and check them out in there, because or you could just go straight to and hear it from the horse's mouth. Go to their TikTok, go to their YouTube, and I'm not endorsing their views at all. But if you really want to see the seriousness of this great deception, it's here. It's not coming. It's here.
Yeah. Check this out. Look, and I want you to primarily take a look to the quality of this video, not necessarily her eyes. I think that's kind of just strange. I think, me personally.
Oh, you brought one of those.
but the quality of the imagery in this and how they are doing this is they've got some money back in the studio. Anyway, I was pretty impressed with it. Let me show you what's happening here after this 2 seconds.
Anunnaki. How many mysteries and riddles lie behind that simple word?
So those are the videos they're claiming are real.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the question is the following: what is the real name of this planet?
Shall we tell them?
Amphim.
I don't even know what that was.
What is their mission? Have they disappeared from our planet? Or are they always around? When will the official contact between the Anunnaki and the
Okay,
humans...
stop there, Bradley, real quick. I got to say something about that video, or that last frame where she's standing there. I got to tell you something about that I learned.
Please.
Can you pull that? Can you pull
Yeah,
that?
I can do that.
If you're able to.
I can.
So
pull
not
it
not the Earth.
When
Just
will
play
the
it here
official contact...
and stop it there. Okay, so first hour of their 7-hour-long seminar on the Anunnaki, they're explaining. So one thing, something that we've already covered is that. So Alatra is pushing this narrative that this woman who you're looking at right now, her name is Jana. You find her on TikTok as Alien Soul 28. Alien Soul 28. The reason why it's Alien Soul is because they believe that when the human dies, if they have achieved their full potential, they live forever. And they become these higher intelligent spirit beings. So it's really interesting how this connects with the whole ghost thing. If you were ever wondering where the ghost thing fits in with the alien phenomena, here it is. Because once the body dies and you've been enlightened, then you can become one of these alien beings. So alien soul hints at the fact that
So wait. So this is the full lie that Satan told Eve from the very beginning. You will be as God. You will not surely die. And that's the whole thing. And he's been saying this whole thing over and over again. I know that's kind of like cliche now.
And you know what's
over and over again. But.
And here's what's interesting is a serpent said that, and she's got eyes like a serpent that's doing this. Like with the slits or with the slots or whatever.
That's an interesting point.
Like a reptile, right? And that's they essentially say that these Anunnaki are these like reptilian-like creatures. So that's the whole thing. So her name is Jana, Z-H-A. It's spelled like Zahana, but they call her Jana. I guess it's Russian or something. She's got a massive following on TikTok. Very popular videos, and just poor kids, Generation Z kids are just eating it up. Lots of them saying, oh, wow, how can you do this? And she'll respond to them and say, well, if you think it's fake, debunk it. So what happened was, since they had some people push back and say this is fake, what they did with their 7-hour-long seminar, the first hour, they were going through all of her videos, scanning these images with different filters, with some heat something software. They're looking at the different layers, right? Doing like a scientific forensics analysis on the photos. And they're explaining, dead face, kid you not, straight face, saying, no, this is totally real. And then, so it goes even further. They go and compare their photos, that exact screenshot there. They go and compare that. They bring up NASA.gov and they pull all these photos from NASA. So they're NASA deniers or NASA hoax believers, right? And they are going through all the photos that NASA produced and saying, see, NASA's photos are the ones that are photoshopped, but ours are the one that's real. So they go through this photo and they analyze it, and it's a whole hour long, I kid you not. And the blinking and all of that, they analyze it, and they're essentially saying that this is 100% real, straight face. There's like 6 of them in this video conference claiming these things to be true. So I just keep driving that point because, again, I don't even think they're trying that hard to lie anymore. You know what I mean? I think if you say something enough times, people will start to believe it.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and continue playing. But I just wanted to say that was their focal point, this footage right there. They were saying the Earth is real right there, the spaceship. Oh, wait, one more thing. They said that her suit, which is clearly a latex suit. You could probably buy it on Amazon. They were saying that this suit, this is Alatra, the organization, saying this suit is a highly sophisticated, advanced piece of technology that we can't replicate.
Really?
Yeah, chew on that.
The links. Yeah, okay. I don't know what to say.
Between the Anunnaki and the humans take place.
So I included this
so
last
far,
bit.
there have been more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Kaleidoscope Effect, the truth about
So I included this date in here. I thought about taking it out because I thought, it's not necessary. But I included this to show that this is a recent thing. This is a thing that's going on right now. This within this last year, and so it's not like this is something that's happened a long time ago. This is now.
It's recent.
The Anunnaki.
Yeah, this is very recent.
Like they can't blink very
initiated
well.
by alatra IPM participants.
So it's alatra IPN participants. So it's a alatra group, and this is a commercial, a commercial.
From United Arab Emirates, Belgium, and USA.
Okay. So I want to go back to this thing real quick, just because we didn't really cover it much because I wanted to look at.
Yeah, no, there's just we just got to dive in, and guys, everyone watching, we're just discovering this. This is a very new group, so forgive us if we're just hashing through this. This is something I've been studying. We just wanted to sound the alarm as soon as we possibly, as soon as we could get a grasp on the gist of what this group is. So, this is even a call. Do your research, understand the claims of this group, and cross-reference it, prove it with the scripture. Go back and read your Bible, and you'll see that Christ warned of this exact thing in the last days. So bear with us as we're hashing through this, and we're presenting this for the first time in public, but we've been talking about this in private.
Yeah. So this is what's interesting to me. This has always been my theory. Take this with a grain of salt, but they have been presenting these, these gray type aliens, they as in the spiritual realm, or these strange looking things. And then they present these tall, white, or very beautiful beings that they call the Anunnaki. And I think they're going to present some type of being that's seems superior in some tall form, or it's very beautiful, and that's the one they're going to claim is the good side. And then they're going to claim there is a bad side, because if Jesus is going to appear, if there's going to be a good and bad side, they've got to get rid of the Antichrist somehow, right? I don't know, but that's
Bradley, I think at some point the bad side's going to be the Christians. They're going to say that the Christians are the bad side.
Yeah, that's
excuse me, they're already saying that. If you notice, they'll use traces of Christianity within their message, but only to disregard Christ's claims, and they seem to be very keen on doing that. But I do believe that they're going to build this narrative up to a place where their whole pantheon of these alien, highly technically advanced beings are the good guys, including the Greys. And they're going to say, look, these Christians, these Christ followers are unevolved, they're unintelligent, they're troublemakers, and they don't want to come together in our one world
system
effort to ascend and to be like the gods. That's problematic, because if becoming a god is the solution to hunger, is the solution to world to wars and famine and pestilence,
and it's appearing that people are becoming these gods by having these special powers, these lying wonders.
Exactly.
It's going to be very difficult for Christians.
So if you don't evolve, then you're going to be a part of the problem. I just want to. So in our comments here, somebody's actually talking about the logo. Bradley, did you load that video where they talk about their logo?
Which one? Because they got the logo. We're gonna talk about the raw logo.
Okay, good. Yeah, because our friends here are actually picking up on that, which is really interesting. Somebody said that isn't that some similar symbol in Catholicism and in Islam? And yes, guys, they are bringing these things together, and they're going to all the different religions and saying, look, the gods of old have been communicating to all the religions to bring us all together to this day. They call alatra the movement that the prophets longed to see.
Wow. So either this is a test, or this is the movement that's going to be starting. What I find is interesting is my buddy Joe Jordan is in the comments, CE4. He's picking up on the Anunnaki. Anunnaki has been around for a long time. This has been a common thread for a long time. But I don't know if the Latra or the Society Project or whatever it's called has been around. Creative Society, yeah. And so that's...
No, they have not. So the Anunnaki, for anyone in the group, I assume that a lot of people here already kind of have this idea, but the Anunnaki Anunnaki
Yeah.
were Sumerian deities. Okay, so there's a whole pantheon, and we keep using this word because that's what our show is about tonight. There's this whole pantheon of deities in the Sumerian writings, and those were their gods. Back then, they didn't call them aliens; they were just their gods. So today, groups are rising up and claiming the Anunnaki to be the aliens who are now manifesting themselves as UFOs and as light orbs.
But that's not that's what's amazing about it, is that if you read, I did this in a video just recently, where you take the story of Israel from the Bible, and the Bible actually says that these are ancient gods of old pretending to be dead loved ones. They were pretending to be gods, and they were worshipped by these ancient societies, and God said don't worship these things. And so the same thing, the way they deceived these ancient societies back then is the same way they're going to do it in the near future and even right now. And so it's not that this is a new thing, it's an old thing. Like Solomon says. Is it Solomon? There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. All right, let's try to get through this because man, we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah. Okay, so check this out. So in the background, you can kind of see it, but there's a round or a circle with a moon, a half-shaped moon under it. They're gonna say, "Hey, look, we've had this same symbolism all throughout our history. All these different societies have had this, and look what this means. This is their website, their video. This is what they're pushing. I didn't put this together." And so they're trying to say, "Hey, look, right here. Look at all these different sculptures. Look at all these different things that we found and unearthed. They all contain this thing, so it must be the same God that these things worshipped." Well, yeah, the same little g God, because this is all these pagan organizations. I mean, am I right, Aaron? I mean, this is exactly where this is going. They're worshiping the same old pagan gods. Of course, it's going to look similar.
Yeah, these are the connections that people were making in the comments.
Right.
CE4 research says a new group, but same old story from many that have come over the last 3 decades. Yeah, I mean, it is the same thing. And I know it sounds like we're just being repetitive here, but I think it's important to make these connections and to see the thread, because the Bible says that knowledge is going to be increased someday. And I do believe that is biblical knowledge. And we have tons of resources where we're able to see these connections and to make a lot of sense out of them. But I'm happy that people are able to make these connections and to say, wow, I saw that symbol in Islam. Wow, I saw that symbol in Catholicism. Yes, we've seen these symbols. But there's a really good reason why the Lord told us not to make graven images. And I personally, it is my conviction that the symbol that Christians are supposed to carry is not a symbol of a cross around our neck. That is my personal opinion. I believe that the symbol of God that we're supposed to carry is God's character, is Christ's likeness, is God's image. Because here, this group is saying, look at these symbols through all these religions that connect all the world's religions. Well, that is the lie. That's the hoax. That's the whole controversy here. But God selected a people amongst all the nations and said, I'm going to set you apart. Be holy. Don't be associated with images and idols and graven symbols. Just reflect. You will know who belongs to Christ by their fruit, by their character, by the love that they have for their neighbor. And that is the thing that that's the thing that we can use to say, hey, fellow Christian, right there, we have the Holy Spirit, you have the Holy Spirit, and we're able to recognize that sign and that symbol. The Bible also refers to this as the seal of God in the forehead of all the believers. And the devil has a seal too. The devil has a mark too. And he has these little things that he puts throughout all these little cultures so that one day the connection can be made. Let's keep it rolling.
Man, no, I think you hit on you're digging into so many aspects of it. We could go into a deep study on this, but let's roll. I want to roll into this Hitler thing. This is really interesting to me because there's a lot of strange stuff behind this, and I want to kind of dig into that real quick. So hard cut we're gonna put this out. If you want to follow a little bit further, actually, let me bring you up so we can actually see each other. If you want to follow this a little bit further, join our Discord. You can do that through the Patreon. It's very interesting because as we go through this whole thing, it's going to get deeper and deeper in the weeds, and I'm sure we're going to bring more to the front of this. But what's fascinating tonight is something else. Let's check this out real quick.
Hamburg, Germany.
All right, so obviously if you recognize that voice, you know exactly what's coming up. That same voiceover is for Ancient Aliens, and every single stinking time I put a clip of Ancient Aliens up, they A&E Network prevents me from receiving any type of ad income from this YouTube channel. But it's so important, and I think they have very important graphics to explain what I need to explain about this, that this is a deception. What they're putting out is that it's not a deception, that it's real. But they got some interesting stuff to explain that it is a deception, and so I'm using their clip for a good reason. Check this out.
December 1938. 4 years into Adolf Hitler's reign as Führer, he is beginning to establish his total dictatorship by taking direct control of the German military.
Okay, so that much was true. That we know that in history, that he's kind of taken over the military. And I stopped it there. This is a whole clip, but I'm going to stop it periodically because there's so much to break out here that we really need to kind of cut and then talk about it a little bit so that it doesn't get away with us.
But on the brink of World War II, Hitler is also involved in much stranger endeavors that are hidden to the public. He is committing every remaining resource to searching for ancient relics that he believes could hold incredible powers.
What do you think about that, Aaron? We learned a little bit about Hitler in history and how he had taken over, but it's interesting that according to some of the documents that have come out, he had been looking for this stuff. They go into it, and I cut this part out where they say that he was looking for this stuff because it was ancient cities under the ice and stuff. But he was definitely looking in Antarctica, according to some of the documents, and he was looking for something. And he devoted a good portion of the money in the military to it, so it had to been important to them. So we're going to dive into a little bit further. Let's see what they think it is.
They were searching for this lost Arctic home that they thought that the Aryans had come from. They were looking all over the world, and that included Antarctica.
The Thule Society actually believed that there were mystics or channels who were able to communicate with these beings who claimed to be either extraterrestrial in origin or claimed to belong to this civilization that lived in Earth's interior.
So Hitler, not surprisingly, had some bad ideas. He had been talking potentially to demons, in other words, and these things that he wanted to get more power. On a side note, oh no, I'm not going to go into that. This is so many.
What a cliffhanger!
I know. I'll go into it a little more in the chat and maybe the Discord, but I was going to start talking about how there's different people in Hollywood that have also had this experience that I've worked out, and they've had dreams and visions. And in fact, there was a particular singer that died recently, actually within the last 10 years, that was wanted to be put to sleep a lot by his doctor because he would have these dreams and visions that would allow him to increase his popularity. If you're reading between the lines, you can probably figure out who that very popular guy is who sat at the top of the charts for about 12 years. Anyway, let's get back into this because that's not a topic I'm gonna go into, but there's interesting parallels between those.
they gave a lot of information about the building of advanced aerospace vehicles, flying saucers, and I think this is where Hitler's Nazi party got a lot of its information about Antarctica, that in Antarctica there is this ancient civilization or bases where they could find a lot of these advanced technologies.
Interesting.
So
The area
let's talk about this with Joe Rogan now, because Joe Rogan's going to go in and talk about this a little bit.
and of Antarctica they went to was New Schwabenland.
New Schwabenland. Do you think that's why he dresses with the space?
100%, bro.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. So they're all in contact with the aliens.
I think, well, dude, I mean, it gets into, see, a lot of people think this is about power and money.
What do you think it's about?
It's spiritual war, dude. These people got all the money and all the power. They got more than they could ever want.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling.
So he's saying it's spiritual war. Now he dives a little in saying it's low vibrations and high vibrations. They don't understand
same.
everything about it. But check this out.
I think they want complete control.
But that gets into spirituality, not just complete control, but lowering your vibration and jacking your loosh. Your
But
spirit energy.
You think they're doing that consciously, or do you think they're doing it like they're chasing the economics, and along the way it actually becomes a spiritual battle, because everything is a spiritual battle?
I think it's done purposely. I think they're
evil.
I think they're at low. There's low frequency stuff going on, and they've made deals with people and things, and that's why things going on.
That was very ambiguous, but I understand where you're going with it.
So maybe
Okay.
we should clarify for those in the chats or those who are watching right now, the low vibration, the low frequency, low energy versus high vibration, high frequency, and high energy in the New Age are terms that essentially mean it's their version of good and evil. That's it. I mean, when someone has a low energy or a low vibe or a low frequency, they have a spirit of negativity. In Christianity, we would call we would refer to those as evil spirits. But in the New Age, you can't say that, because once you start talking about evil spirits, you have to talk about good spirits too, and that usually leads people to conclude that there is a God, and that's dangerous territory for some people who want to stay away from that. So, just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolute.
They are terms that are way overused, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you want me, I just don't want to get too weird too fast, bro. But
Too fast?
I'm like,
We just opened up. We're good.
I 100% believe this is spiritual war, and that these people are working with dark entities, and that's what this is all about.
Let's imagine this. If there was like an alien race that came here from another planet and gave just a random group of people technology.
Yeah.
Gave them an understanding of things and how to do things. How much of a record do you think they would keep of that? Wouldn't that be something that people would want to talk about?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the internet, that we're now able to do that. We could never do that before.
So you think that's what the story is about? That the story is about they went there and they met with aliens and the aliens gave them information?
I mean, Hitler was really into the occult.
Yeah, I know,
like he would
was.
send people all over the place.
No, he had a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah, he had a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah.
But see, the occult has a negative connotation to it. Not everything involved with the occult is negative. What the occult really means is secret.
Okay, so let's stop right there just for a second. He's partially right, but the occult is in fact de facto even though it might mean hidden or the hidden thing or the secret thing, as some have said in the past, it is because this primarily was a Christian worldview when this term was created, and now you have the cult, meaning this is the thing that is opposed to what is the norm, and so that's what he's saying. Well, it's not that bad, and so this is where.
So you're right, Bradley. You're spot on, and you see that shift happening. I remember out of high school, I started noticing kids who were supposed to be the punk anti-establishment crowd were starting to wear like pyramids on their shirts and starting to wear things like, different symbols and emblems that you'd normally see associated with the weird secret society governments. And I've always found that really weird. So what you're having, it's almost like the occult is becoming like the good guys, but now the government is this other weird, dark look. They're the low vibration side of the occult, because now there's a good vibration side of the occult, right?
Right.
But that's something that I've noticed that happens. So I think you're spot on with that, and what he's saying is totally of that flavor.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan's down with this. I mean, even his intro has the third eye on his forehead and everything. Sure. So I mean, don't take what he says with absolute de facto truth. But this is on topic and interesting. Let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Secret.
So there's not as much
That's
around.
what the word means?
Yeah, it's basically it means like it's hidden.
I always associate it with people that believe in silly shit. When someone starts talking about the occult, I'm always like, how do you feel about ghosts? How do you feel about, like, when people start talking about like dark magic? I'm like, for real? You sure?
I believe in that there's some energy manipulation, but
I don't disbelieve.
Yeah,
I don't disbelieve.
Listen, I don't know what's going on. I just kind of read stuff, and I'm like, how does this fit into the puzzle?
Well, I'm glad that he's at least figuring it out. I like the fact that this guy's on the right path at least, and he might not have everything figured out. I got to look up who this guy is. I'll put that in Discord. But the what's really interesting to me is he identified. He said, "This is dark. Whatever's going on here, this is dark stuff. Whatever he was dealing with, and these things are coming out and saying they're gods. I mean, come on." So Joe Rogan, obviously, is saying, you know what? Do you actually believe in that stuff? I don't know, but what do you think?
I think there's some tongue-in-cheek stuff going on there too. I think these guys who are making these podcasts, have more of an understanding of the workings of these things, maybe more than what they'd like to actually present. That's my thought. And so what you find in the UFO community is that there are talks about the good side and the bad side. And a lot of the new age, the low energy, high energy, that type stuff that's creeping into there is starting to create this this paradigm for them where they're kind of sorting things out, which is why I believe that it's prime time to be witnessing to people who are following these threads, because people are already talking about the forces of good and evil. I believe that our job as with Strange Normal, and even the Strange Normal research group, is to help present these things in context, in their proper context, to say no. So yes, while on the surface it may seem like there are good and bad beings in this new alien pantheon, and that's what we should start calling it, because that's what it is, this new alien pantheon. No. The whole phenomena is the part that's bad, because they're masquerading. These entities are masquerading as this. So, it's like they're getting close. They're almost there, but there's just something that comes and deflects them, and then they go that way. And when I hear it, I just kind of want to shake somebody and say, you're almost there. You almost had it.
You've come so close. I think.
Yeah. I did want to mention, though, so they did touch on the government receiving technology, information, and all that stuff. I don't know how familiar you are with the whole story of Prometheus. I don't know if you watched the movie Prometheus. That was the alien, part of the Alien trilogy. I don't know if you'd call it that, but Prometheus is basically, in Greek mythology, Prometheus was a Titan who was essentially banished, cast out of heaven, and when that punishment happened, he also took with him fire from the gods. He stole the fire from the gods, I believe it was maybe from Zeus, and gave it to man as a gift. Now, fire in this myth represents technology, because fire is the thing, if you think about it, fire is the thing that you use to cook, to heat, to build things, to make things, to forge, and all that stuff. So that's what they believed in the Greek mythology. And again, it's the same narrative you hear with, especially with, help me out here, Bob Lazar. His
Bob
whole
Lazar.
story was just that, he found this government technology and they reversed engineered these
Allegedly.
alien crafts,
Yeah.
allegedly. And now we have this knowledge that's going to make us like God. So again, these same exact stories, and what they're touching on right there is this, essentially the story of Prometheus, back to the Greek, the Roman pantheon of deities representing themselves as aliens.
Right. This rabbit hole goes so deep, and
yeah.
That, I think that's the way it was designed. But I'm glad we can sit here and we can kind of hash it out and understand exactly what's going on, so we can warn others. And this is the whole point of Strange Normal YouTube channel. You've heard it said, the Strange Normal Research Group, which is what we're calling the Discord, which you can access through Patreon.
Oh, that's right. We didn't drop a plug for the Strange Normal Research Group, but that is a thing.
that's exactly what we're calling it. And so when we're in here, we're researching, we're putting links out. We're saying, hey, look, this is a new thread of something else. You can join in the fun too. And your donations will help push ads for Starfall, will help push ads for the truth out to the masses, so that we can spread the word and get the truth out. That's the whole goal of this whole thing, is to spread the gospel, the truth, that this is that God is coming soon, and that this is a danger that is used to prevent many people from reaching that. A strong delusion. And that's what
there's even plans for alien gospel tracts. Well, that sounds weird. Alien gospel tracts, anti-alien gospel tracts.
Yes. Yeah, and showing the truth behind this stuff, so that we can spread it as the leaves of autumn out to the masses.
Amen.
Well, I think that about wraps it up. But I want to look at the comments real quick and kind of see where we're at, because we've been talking a lot and we have been ignoring the comments, and we desperately appreciate everyone that has been in here and has been looking at all this stuff. And it's really interesting. I'm just looking down through here. I'm just going to look at the comments real quick. Truth to the youth. You have been in here the whole time. You're welcome to come in and join us via video, Mikey.
Yeah, hop in here, Mikey. Hop in here. Get in here.
But you don't have to, because we're about wrapping up anyway, and you probably just want to relax. Mikey, he's usually in here on the podcast, but he's in
the lobby waiting.
He's in the lobby. Oh, look, there he is, right there. Let me bring him in here. Well, there you are.
Hey, I thought I was on punishment or something.
That's called purgatory here, okay?
Yeah.
Nice to join you. Join us.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome.
Interesting stuff, man. You guys are tearing it up, bro.
Stealing you from the comment section.
So, Mikey's been on another podcast, so he just got with us just now, but we're glad for him to join us at the end and kind of look around a little bit. But it's fascinating stuff what's going on, Mikey. That's what we're finding out.
I jumped in when you guys were talking about the girl who blinks sideways and people are trying to figure out if she's real or not. And I like the moment I jumped in and saw that, I was like, I'm looking at CG. Yeah. Were you guys saying that people are saying that that's real?
Yes,
Mikey, listen, man. Okay, so not only, so you understand the whole TikTok culture.
You opened up a can of worms. We closed that.
Yeah,
but
I just wanted to make sure that
you understand the TikTok culture. There are a lot of, I would say, 12 to 40 years old, right? So everything from below, are they repeating the alphabet now? Are they going back to Generation Alpha or something for 12-year-olds? Because Generation Z is already in their 20s. So you have a lot of people. What blows my mind, Mikey, is that how do people not know that Photoshop and After Effects exist? I just thought that it was just a matter of fact of life that After Effects was this thing that Adobe made so that we could fake videos and make them look cool. Not everybody knows that. So I am humbled. On TikTok, people are watching these videos of Jana, who's blinking sideways. And if you go through the comments on her TikTok, which is Alien Soul 28, if you go through them, people are just eating it up. They're actual people. And then there's little debates that take place, but the majority of people believe it. So not only that, Mikey, they are coming out with videos where they analyze them and compare them to other fake videos to show that their videos are the real videos. So, I mean, it's just lie on top of lie on top of lie, and this is their religion. And so, yeah.
The moment I saw it, I knew I was looking at CG, and then I heard you saying,
Well, yeah, right.
I was just like,
it almost looked like a filter. It was so bad.
Yeah. I guess, you know, like the X-Files poster says, I want to believe.
Yeah.
I like what you said. You know, you keep presenting the lie over and over until it just becomes believable. I mean, it's just like evolution and all that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if you push a narrative long enough, and you've heard about the what is that? The thing. Okay, so there's what is this principle? There's a study done where where they set up all these people in a room, and when a sound went off, like an alarm went off, they all stood up.
Oh,
and then they all sat down. What is that called?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
That's
So you're
there's
talking
a
about
name
they
for it.
set up a room, like a waiting room for a doctor's office, and then
Yeah, maybe somebody in the comments know what I'm talking about, but it's like it's the
so there's a beep that goes off, and everybody else is hired to stand up, and so the other person who doesn't know what's going on, they start standing up. That's a herd.
So
like
maybe
mentality, right?
no, it's not the mirror neuron test. It's not that one. This is because when COVID when the thing happened, when the thing happened, these videos were floating.
Now you're gonna have a banner underneath this video.
YouTube's gonna put banners up, and the what is it called? The
Oh man, yeah, I messed that one up. So when the thing happened, these videos were surfacing everywhere. I know I got a loud mouth. When this thing happened, these videos were surfacing everywhere because people were drawing the connection. They were like, "Wow, this is something like a suggestive." Or my wife knows. I would run in there and ask her. But anyway, my point is that
conformity waiting room.
Yes, the Asch conformity experiment. Thank you.
Okay.
ASCH.
I see it.
No, mass formation psychosis is similar, but the Asch conformity experiment was a series of tests that they did where they put people in rooms and had groups do this thing that they knew that they were in this test, but one person was the what would you call it? The control person, or whatever you call it. He was the subject. He wasn't aware that this test was going on, and but basically, when everybody's doing something, it becomes so much more easier to look around and you go, well, then this blinking Anunnaki lady must totally be real because everybody here is saying it. And now I must be crazy, right? So, sorry, that was a mouthful. I was having such a hard time figuring out what the name of
That's interesting because I've seen bots put comments like on videos and say, wow, I can't believe this is so cool. I've seen this before. And I just sit there and stare at it and go, am I nuts? What's going on here? And it has to be bots that are making everyone think. But
we actually did a test like that on our show.
Never mind.
So we did a show one time on LED
toilet paper
Live.
Experiment.
I know what that is. On LED Live, we had our graphic designer. She did not know what we were doing, and Gotti was showing these slides on the screen, and it was like different length lines, and some of them are really drastically different, and some of them were pretty close. And so he told us all to say the right answer. And he said at the end on the last one, everybody say the wrong answer and see what Michelle says. So these lines were obviously, you could tell, and it was like A is the longest, B is the longest, whatever. And then on the last one, we said one that was, they were close, but you could tell one was shorter. And we all said that the shorter one was the longest. And when it got to Michelle, she agreed with us. And we were like, whoa, really? Because she's a graphic designer, dude. She looks at pixels all day long. And we were like, wait, did you really think that was the longest one? She goes, well, I thought it was obviously this one, but you guys made me question. And then instead of saying, I think it's this one, she just went ahead and went with what we said. It was interesting. We did it. We saw it happen in real life.
And all the world wandered after the beasts.
Man.
You know, I almost wonder if one day that we'll be walking around and things will be maybe a little more obvious to us that they are fake, and maybe that's a part of plays into the persecution of Christians, where, you know, they're like, guys, how can you clearly this guy was just healed. Clearly he's, you know, walking on water and disappearing in smoke. How can you not believe this? And we're just gonna like this, you know, how can you not see that this is fake? But yeah,
I
that
think
hash conformity experiment is really
we might see that at the beginning, but as I think time goes on, where there's going to be a huge deception that it's going to be undeniable, and people are just going to fall off, realizing that this might be completely it's going to be a strong delusion. But
Kalito, thank you so much for that super chat.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
We can't do this without you, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, I wanted to thank you for that immediately. He says we got to do something on AI and how that's working. And actually, Little Light, I want to call it the parent company, but it's not a parent company. The company that Mikey and I work for, we are, I think, in the process of talking about doing a documentary on transhumanism. Is that right?
Yep.
And AI is, I'm sure, part of that. So that's going to be a really, really interesting one for sure.
We've been having fun with some AI artwork, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have.
I'm talking about you, Aaron.
I was like, Little Light Studios, huh? You guys dabble? Jackie Bunting. I don't know if Jackie's still in here. Jackie, if you're in there, drop a emoji or something. But is this like Star Children? I believe she's referring to the alatra. I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge this comment. Indigo Children, yes. Star Children. That's a thing right now that is actually making a massive, because I remember when I was like a teenager, there was like little documentaries about indigo children, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And then this movie came out called The Last Mimsy. Have you heard of that one?
Never heard of that.
All right, I'll share it with you in the Discord. The Last Mimsy, watch the trailer. I'll try to find a synopsis on it, but this young girl finds a stuffed animal, and the stuffed animal was like this thing that the alien gods put in her path. And then they were trying to communicate to her to like through this thing. And she was like, Mom, Mimsy's talking to me, because Mimsy's a little stuffed animal bunny. But given to so get this, the plot is crazy. It's a children's movie, by the way. So Mimsy's a little bunny that has like this electronic device, almost is like essentially possessed by the aliens, right? Through this electronic device, they use like this little thing to communicate with her through signals, not even talking. They use like frequencies and signals, and then it imparts these magical powers. This is a live action movie. These magical powers to this young girl, and she's trying to tell her mom, classic movie thing where like the parents don't really believe it, and she's like, Mom, Mimsy is talking to me again. And Mimsy is giving her all these powers. But anyway, at the end, finally, the young girl is united, you know, follows. It's almost like an E.T. kind of narrative, too, but modern. It was like in the early 2000s, I think. The alien bunny stuffed animal leads her to, you know, the moment in the film where she's able to unite with her alien ancestors, who are gray aliens, right? Get this, they are like gray, green, slimy looking aliens. But when they see the little girl, they like press a little button and it opens like a helmet, and it's human beings.
Oh boy.
Human beings. So this is a narrative, but so yeah, this whole Star Child, Indigo Child thing is making a massive comeback today through social media.
So that's a recent movie?
2007.
Oh, 2007?
Wow. Are you looking that up right now? Yeah, The Last Mimsy.
They're looking at a box that looks like it's from Hellraiser or something.
I mean, it's so wild, especially the scene where like she finally meets the aliens. So what they're trying to say is that like the gray aliens we're seeing are just like biosuits for the aliens that are actually humans, right? Like that's the whole story. And the aliens that are actually humans are somehow like the spiritual ancestors of this young girl, and she's united with them. And then the last scene is like them on a different planet in some school and learning this new spiritual way. I mean, this is a Hollywood movie, guys. But yeah, yes, Jackie does not look like she's still here, but Rocky Roja, I can't even pronounce this. Rojas? Help me out here. Indigo Kids is just an excuse to be rebellious. Yeah, for sure.
When I looked this
And it
up,
sounds so pretty, right? Indigo Children.
a movie came up called Race to Witch Mountain and has UFOs and stuff. Have you ever heard of that?
No, drop it in the Discord. So
yeah, Disney movie with
check it out.
Dwayne Rock.
Well, guys, I got work tomorrow. We all do, I think, but I'm getting tired.
Oh man,
I gotta get to bed. I did a lot of research last night. I was up probably too late, so I want to get some good sleep tonight. And
tomorrow's my day off.
I think we can probably say goodnight to everyone on here. We got about 50 concurrent right now. Awesome, guys. I appreciate you and everything you're doing, everything you're helping us with as we do our research. We get a lot of emails, a lot of thanks, and I get everything from messages on Facebook to messages to my inbox, and we also get your Patreon. Jackie was one of them we mentioned tonight. We thank you, Jackie, for that. And everything that everyone else is doing. We love you guys, and we thank you for being a part of this podcast, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Cool. Peace.